Did you see this coming?
What's good, everybody? I am the SKeLeTrust, and welcome to another commentary. Today, we're not going to be talking about a game, but rather a YouTube video. And this video came out of nowhere for me. It was probably one of the last things I would ever expect to see on this platform. Yeah, you heard it here, folks. Irate Gamer and Angry Video Game Nerd have finally set their differences aside to make an episode together. Again, this is just crazy to me, because I remember when Irate Gamer and Angry Video Game Nerd both wanted nothing to do with each other. Their respective productions wanted nothing to do with each other. Yeah, they just chose to ignore each other and just accept the fact they exist. And when I saw that this video came with a trailer some days before it, that had me clicking on that trailer instantly. Because, well, I just wanted to make sure this wasn't a hoax, because this is just unbelievable to me. But yeah, it's out. Irate Gamer and Angry Video Game Nerd have actually teamed up, quote-unquote, on Dick Tracy for the NES, which the nerd, to my knowledge, has already... Yeah, the nerd has definitely already reviewed that, and I'm not sure if the Irate Gamer's already reviewed it, but here he is reviewing it now, so there you go. So before we start the actual episode, let me get into my respective opinions on these characters, or I guess people. The Angry Video Game Nerd is one I have been a huge fan of for quite some time. Like, I'm talking probably years upon years. Yeah, I started watching this guy when I was young. But I mean, I didn't care. It was all funny. It was all well produced. It's like one of the most entertaining things to watch on YouTube nowadays, and it still is. Even his earliest ones are still entertaining as hell. And I have to give James Rolfe the credit he deserves. Like, he knows how to do it. He knows how to keep drama out of it. He knows how to make the quality of his videos consistent. That's why he's one of my favorite YouTubers, Cinemassacre. Hands down, one of the greatest YouTubers on this platform, fight me. And then there's the Irate Gamer. So, remember back in the day when he was considered nothing more than just an Angry Video Game Nerd ripoff? And he kind of was. I mean, he used his catchphrases, he used his ideas. In his freaking Rob episode, he pretty much copied every single thing. It was actually kind of funny to look at. I actually considered Irate Gamer a guilty pleasure to watch because, well, yeah, of course it's bad. It's still funny to watch somehow. I do think that over the years, though, Irate Gamer has sort of improved. He actually established his own little personality that's separate from the nerd, but I'm still not a big fan of him. I mean, I think he's alright. He makes quality content nowadays. He doesn't just rip straight off it. Well, I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't give me Angry Video Game Nerd vibes every now and then, but I mean, I think he's definitely gotten better. I will say that. I haven't even kept up with Irate Gamer for like years, actually. I never even thought to look up his channel again until I saw that trailer. And I was just like, oh, shit, well, this guy exists again. And, yep, here we are now. The Irate Gamer versus AVGN crossover of Dick Tracy on NES. Now, what are my thoughts on the episode as a whole? Well, I do think it's interesting that the nerd and the Irate Gamer team up for once. Very, very interesting, like I've already said a billion times. But at the same time, it was kind of a little underwhelming? I will say this, though. The first half of the episode was actually pretty solid. It started with Irate Gamer, like, you know, covering what the game is based off of, Dick Tracy the movie, which, by the way, I haven't seen, but I heard it's really, really popular back in the 80s. Or 90s. I don't know when it was released. I already forgot. But still, I definitely know that it was the shit back then. And I also know that the video game, the NES one anyway, sucked dong. But yeah, he does a really good job explaining, like, the backstory, and yeah, there were some jokes that were actually admittedly kind of funny. And then he starts playing the game himself, making, like, an actual review, and he doesn't do a bad job covering it. He actually makes some strong points that the nerd doesn't make, and that's kind of what makes me think the Irate Gamer has sort of a different personality than the nerd does nowadays. So yeah, I will say the first half of the episode was really, really good. But I kinda hate to say this, but the part where it threw everything off was when the nerd showed up. Now, allow me to elaborate on what I mean by that. I don't mean that the nerd himself made the episode worse. I'm just saying that's when the quality sort of started to drop. Now, you might think that since this is called Irate Gamer versus Angry Video Game Nerd, then there would actually be sort of a fight. And while there technically is, you would probably expect it to be like, oh shoot, maybe they try to like duke it out or something. Or maybe they review the game together, but it just kinda, at the end, kinda goes downhill. Kinda like how the nerd fought the nostalgia critic. But what we get instead is a very bland race to the finish on seeing how fast they can both finish the game to see who hates it more. I don't know about you, but I'm really not big on that concept. They could have come up with something a little better? I don't know. It's just that something about that concept just seems very, very disappointing to me. And even then, the nerd doesn't even make that much of an appearance in the episode. He gets attention from the Irate Gamer, so he goes on to say, well, shit, I guess we're the only two retro game reviewers on YouTube. And so since they want to find out who hates the Dick Tracy game more, they race to the finish, and the nerd beats him at the end, and that's pretty much it. That's basically the nerd's appearance in the video in a very solid nutshell. I just feel like, you know, they could have done more. And the rest of the review isn't really even a review, it's just the Irate Gamer playing the game and not really commentating on how bad it is. It's just not really a review anymore. It started to feel more like a Let's Play video. And like I said, that's where it kind of threw everything off. I mean, I'll expect this quality from like Irate Gamer standards, but if we're bringing the nerd into this, I'm gonna expect a little more, because he set some of the highest standards this community could ever have. And so, I just think that it wasn't Irate Gamer himself that ruined it, it was just, well, the production that kinda just threw it down the shitter. And I will say that for Irate Gamer standards, usually the jokes that are in them were either kinda funny or just not funny. The jokes for Irate Gamer is definitely there a lot of the time, and by the way, talking about a general sense, but they're not really funny, they don't really come off as funny, they're still there, but yeah. I'm not saying they didn't have some funny jokes. I'll admit, the nostalgia critic part actually kind of got me. I'm not gonna lie. Like near the end. But yeah, it was just kind of alright episode of Irate Gamer, and this is technically an Irate Gamer episode. This was posted on his channel, so yeah, I guess I shouldn't be that disappointed considering this is an Irate Gamer episode, but like I said, if you're bringing the nerd into this, you get my point. All in all, I think the episode could have been way better if it was written way better, if the material it came up with really had more thought put into it. So overall, I didn't dislike it at all. I didn't even hate it. In fact, I don't really hate a lot of the Irate Gamer episodes, because that's a strong word. They are technically well put together, it's just that he's just uninspired. Nowadays I can see he's a little more inspired, but he's still not great, and this is one of the episodes that kind of proves my point there, on how much better the Angry Video Game Nerd has always been. So, yeah, bottom line, decent episode, it's just kind of a disappointment in my book. But for those of you who thoroughly enjoyed this episode, and even for those of you who are simply just happy that the Irate Gamer and Angry Video Game Nerd put things aside and decided to team up, then isn't that all that really matters by the end of the day? So with that being said, thank you all for tuning in. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, and subscribe if you're interested. I make commentary such as these from time to time, Let's Play videos, and other humorous content you might find actually funny or cringeworthy. Depending on your type, everybody's different. And yeah, with that being said, thank you all one more time, and I will see you all in the next video. sayonara.